What if I told you that one of the most famous scandals in music history might not be what you think? You've probably heard the story. Stravinsky's Rite of Spring premiered in 1913, and the audience went wild, shouting, booing, even fighting. Some people even say Stravinsky planned the riot as a publicity stunt, but did he really? Or is that just a juicy story we all want to believe? Let's dig in. Paris, May 29th, 1913. The brand new Théâtre des Champs-Élysées was packed with a mix of aristocrats, artists, critics, and regular concert-goers, a crowd eager for the latest in avant-garde culture. Stravinsky's Rite of Spring was nothing like the ballets people were used to. The music was raw, percussive, angular, and full of dissonance, unlike the graceful melodies of Tchaikovsky or Delibes. And the choreography, Václav Nijinsky's movements were jagged, stomping, and angular, completely abandoning classical ballet's elegance. Audiences had never seen anything like it. Even the storyline, a pagan ritual culminating in a human sacrifice, felt shocking and primitive to Parisian tastes. So from the very beginning, the performance was set up to divide opinion. The combination of radical music, unconventional movement, and provocative subject matter created a perfect storm, a work that was bound to challenge, confuse, and maybe even enrage people. It wasn't just a new ballet. It was almost an assault on the expectations of 1913 Paris. But here's the first question. Was this really a riot or just a very noisy protest? And where does Stravinsky fit into all this? Eyewitnesses agree. The audience made so much noise that the dancers sometimes couldn't hear the orchestra. Police were called to keep order. The ballet kept going, but it was chaos. And Stravinsky, very soon into the performance, he left his seat, went into the wings of the stage, and stayed near Václav Nijinsky for the rest of the performance. He even held onto Nijinsky's clothes at one point to prevent him from stepping on stage in anger due to the uproar. Stravinsky was quite upset, to say the least, by the scene, not delighted, which makes you wonder, if he hated it so much, where did the idea come from that he planned the whole thing? Here's where it gets interesting. After the premiere, Stravinsky's impresario, Sergei Diaghilev, reportedly said, "Exactly what I wanted." That one line has been retold for over a century, but ask yourself, does that mean Diaghilev and Stravinsky planned it, or was Diaghilev just saving face after a disaster? He was a showman, after all. Stravinsky himself, however, never played along. He spent decades denying the fact that it was staged. He wanted people to focus on his music, of course, not the scandal. So why do people still believe Stravinsky masterminded it? Well, think about it. Doesn't it feel believable that Stravinsky might have staged a riot? Part of it is just how much we love the idea of a rebellious genius shaking up the establishment. But it's more than that. History actually shows other composers really did provoke audiences, sometimes in extreme ways. Take John Cage. In his famous composition, 4 minutes and 33 seconds, the performer sits silently for over 4 minutes. The audience hears only ambient noise, coughs, shuffles, whispers. At its premiere, some people were confused, some even walked out, and yet that silence made him famous. It forced people to question what music is, and it worked as a form of provocation, whether Cage meant it to be so or not. And then there's Pierre Boulez. In his early career, he was outspoken, confrontational, challenging the musical establishment. He called older styles reactionary and was, by his own admission, a bit of a bully in debates. That notoriety helped him stand out and cemented his reputation as a radical modernist. And then there's Anea Lockwood, whose composition Piano Burning literally involves setting a piano on fire or destroying it during performance. Shocking? Absolutely. Memorable? Even more so. In avant-garde circles, this kind of spectacle drew attention, provoked debate, and created legend. When you see these examples, it's easier to understand why people might retroject the same motive onto Stravinsky. They know provocation can build fame, so it seems plausible, even if in Stravinsky's case there's no evidence he staged the riot intentionally. And that's probably why the story keeps growing in the popular imagination. So, did Stravinsky plan the disturbance at the Rite of Spring premiere? No, it happened, but it wasn't staged. Stravinsky was angry, he must have been embarrassed and frustrated as well. He wanted respect for his art, not headlines simply for the sake of chaos or notoriety. The real story is probably just this. His music was so new, so radical that audiences just weren't ready. And that's what made history. But what do you think? Would the Rite of Spring still be as famous today if there hadn't been that famous first performance? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And now you can become a member if you really like what you see. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.